It was a bright Saturday morning at the bustling Skyline Mall. Families strolled through the halls, couples held hands, and teenagers clustered around the food court. This was the mall's prime time, and Mr. Graham, the mall manager, prided himself on keeping everything running smoothly. He had just finished his third coffee of the day when he received a call from security. "Sir, there's a man causing a bit of a stir near the Apple Store. You might want to check it out." Graham sighed. It wasn't unusual for people to get overly excited about new products or celebrities. He strode over, adjusting his blazer and preparing for what he assumed would be a minor disturbance. As he approached the crowd, he immediately spotted the man causing the commotion. It was Elon Musk. To Graham's disbelief, the Tesla CEO and tech mogul stood casually near the store entrance. Wearing jeans, a plain t-shirt, and a bright red MAGA hat. The crowd buzzed with murmurs and phone cameras pointed in every direction. Is that really him? Why is he wearing that hat? Elon's here? In this mall? Graham's jaw tightened. While he respected Musk's achievements, he knew the hat, a symbol for Make America Great Again, was polarizing. People had strong opinions about it, and Graham wanted no part of any controversy that might disrupt the peace of his mall. He marched up to Elon with purpose. "Mr. Musk," he began, trying to keep his tone neutral, "it's an honor to have you here, but I'm going to have to ask you to remove that hat. It's causing a disturbance." Elon turned to him, his face calm, but his eyes piercing. "Good morning to you too," he said with a faint smile. "Is there a rule about hats in this mall?" "Not about hats specifically," Graham admitted, "but we do have a policy against anything that might provoke conflict or make our patrons uncomfortable." Elon's smile didn't waver. "Interesting. So you're asking me to leave because of a hat?" "I'm asking you to either remove it or leave," Graham clarified, his voice firm. "This is private property, and we aim to keep it a welcoming environment for everyone." For a moment, the crowd held its breath. Elon looked around at the gathering onlookers, many of whom were recording the interaction. Then, he did something unexpected. "All right," he said, taking off the hat and holding it in his hand. "I'll respect your rules." The crowd's tension eased, but before Graham could exhale in relief, Elon continued, his voice carrying a note of challenge. "But let me ask you something, Mr. Graham. Is the real issue the hat, or is it the conversation it sparks?" Graham blinked, caught off guard. I'm just trying to avoid conflict." "Conflict isn't always a bad thing," Elon said, his tone thoughtful. "It can lead to understanding, to growth. Avoiding it doesn't make it go away. It just hides it under the surface." Before Graham could respond, Elon turned to the crowd. "Since we're all here, why not have a discussion? Everyone's got their phones out anyway. Let's talk about why this hat matters to some people and why it offends others." The mall buzzed with surprise. A few people cheered. Others murmured in uncertainty. Graham felt his stomach knot. This was exactly what he wanted, to avoid a public spectacle. But now, it was too late to stop it. Elon stepped onto a small bench to address the growing crowd. "This hat," he began, holding it up, "represents different things to different people. For some, it's a symbol of hope, of wanting to restore a version of America they believe in. For others, it's a symbol of division and pain. The question is, how do we bridge that gap?" People in the crowd began chiming in. "It's about policies that hurt marginalized communities," one woman said. "No, it's about putting America first," a man countered. Elon listened intently, nodding as people shared their views. He didn't interrupt, didn't argue. Instead, he encouraged more voices, more perspectives. Gradually, the conversation shifted from heated to heartfelt. People who had never met before found themselves explaining their experiences and listening to others. Graham watched in amazement. What had started as a potential PR disaster was turning into something entirely different. People were engaged, connecting, and even smiling. After nearly an hour, Elon stepped down from the bench. "Thank you all for sharing," he said. "I didn't come here today to spark a debate, but I'm glad we had one. Dialogue is how we move forward, even if it's uncomfortable." The crowd applauded. Some even cheered. Graham, still processing everything, approached Elon. "I didn't expect that," he admitted. Elon chuckled. "Neither did I. But sometimes, the unexpected leads to the most meaningful moments." Graham hesitated before extending his hand. "Thank you for turning this into something positive." Elon shook his hand firmly. "Thank you for the opportunity." As Elon walked away, the crowd slowly dispersed, many people still talking about what they had just experienced. Graham stood there, watching the scene with a newfound sense of understanding. Maybe, just maybe, the mall could be more than a place to shop. It could be a place where people came together, even in their differences. And for the rest of the day, the Skyline Mall buzzed, not with controversy, but with conversations sparked by a hat, a moment, and the man who dared to challenge the status quo.